Hi, this is Damien AtHope, and I'm an axiological atheist, and I'm here to start the meeting. So, any words of wit to start it off?
I saw Pat Oswald's video. I never knew how funny he was. He was just like hilarious. He started like Googling everything he did.
Does he do mainly atheist stuff? Or
No, he does a lot. He does like Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I think is hilarious. Like when he was on Reno 911. Have you ever saw it?
Yeah, I've seen that. So who is he on Reno 911? I've only watched it a couple
He's
times.
all dressed up in armor and stuff, and like some dudes are playing D&D on the porch, and he hit somebody in the neck with an axe because they were debating on whether or not some dude could open a chest and jump out of the way of a magic missile in time. It's like the cops were like sort it out.
Oh yeah, and first of all it was like ridiculous, and then they started helping him, right? Like, now wait a minute.
I guess he did like 3 of those.
That's I kind of wish cops would do that.
So what faith did you start with, or were you secular?
I guess we were Methodists, because I got drugged to a Methodist church when I was a little kid, but I just never believed in it.
For what reason? I mean, it just never made sense, or?
I think I was believing Santa Claus longer than I was believing in Jesus.
That's because Santa Claus got your presents.
Yeah.
And Jesus gave you more flesh. It's kind of gross.
How about you? What'd you start at?
I grew up as a Baptist.
A Baptist?
Went to college, learned more about my own religion, became an atheist.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I was a devout believer for 36 years. Never doubted not even one time. Never doubted. I doubted the way my parents practiced Christianity. I was raised until 13 in a religious cult. And then after that, I was my mom, when she divorced my dad, I wouldn't live with her at 13, about 12 something. But anyways, she was also fanatic though, but on a different side. She was Pentecostal, dancing, in the aisles, and speaking in tongues, not snakes, but in California, but speaking in tongues and stuff. And I just even as a kid, I'm like, I don't get that. They're like, people are all huddling around me. Just say the words, it'll come to you. I'm like, it's not coming. And they're like, just start saying things. I'm like, saying what? Is everybody like play acting? So that I never bought that, but I thought somehow still God was real and the Bible somehow was true.
Has anybody ever taken like some of those like linguistic code breaker dudes from like World War II type dudes and recorded the crazy gibberish and like, all right, here's all the vowels. This one means that.
Because you find it's not true.
You can find anything using simple enough like cipher. So like what they would do is they would do a specific number of spaces, and then they would have a computer program that searched and said, okay, every 5 letters, search for a word.
But you know what they would say is, oh, God's logic is not man's logic. I mean, there's always some ridiculous magic explanation.
Yeah.
Insert magic.
Shrinking. As we understand more and more.
Well, because like my mom knows I'm an atheist. She cried when she found out. She'd rather I said I was gay, because then I could still be Christian. Like, oh, you're going to hell now, and I have to hate you, and or not love you as clearly as I used to be able to. But she's for some reason in the last 7 years has not got off my Facebook. I think it's punishment for her past life, or she would think she's going to experience hell now by reading my posts. But she hasn't left, and she says, some of the things you say really make sense. And I agree, there's definitely contradictions in the Bible. You exposed all of them. She goes, but I still believe in Jesus. I'm like, if you can agree with me, I don't get how magic is still possible.
It's magic.
How is it? None of it makes sense, and yet still true. Like,
because it's magic. This statement is false. Magic.
Yeah.
The guy I listen to on YouTube says that usually when the Bible's all messed up, it's because of mistranslation. Like it's been in Greek and Roman and back to
but I mean,
English.
that's true.
Well, there's words
Yeah.
that's long dead
That-
languages
that-
if there's no words for it.
But that just means the entire thing.
And plus
You
the
gotta basically throw a whole Bible.
plus the empires
Which
are
is a
like
good idea. I threw mine
using
out.
it as a form of control. Yeah, Jesus was an anarchist, and they're not going to let an anarchist preach in there. So they kind of adopted it as the state religion and tweaked the book.
So I was raised evangelical,
Evangelical.
but it was a little weird because there's actually like Chinese and Korean versions of everything.
But yeah, I'm from California. My mom still goes to a Korean church,
Yeah, exactly.
a Korean Christian church.
22 Jump Street or 21 Jump Street. There's like Vietnamese Jesus, and it's like actually looks Vietnamese.
Well, I don't know that they do that kind of, but yes, it's mainly a Korean church that they go to. It's called New Song.
That's funny.
Why is it funny?
Because song is like a Korean word.
Oh, see, well, I didn't even know that. I just know where they.
Chinese. I don't even know Chinese. So
I was just surprised because I talked to her, like, what church you going to now? They were going to different ones. She's like, we're going to New Song. I was like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah, it's mainly Asian. I'm like, you're not Asian. I don't even.
doesn't
I
matter.
mean, nothing wrong with an Asian church, but why are you going to it?
Closest church.
What's funny is our church was actually like rented out of a Lutheran church, and so
That's funny.
yeah, so we would just rent the space like every Sunday, and we would just have like late church, or they would have late church, and we have morning church and stuff like that.
That's funny. Probably for the money, right?
Yeah, so our congregation was like an hour every Sunday. So, like, we had really quick Sunday school and really quick everything. So I kind of figured out that, when they were telling me the Bible story, that these were kind of story time pretty quickly. So I didn't, it never took as like dogma as something true, because I was like, well, these are just cartoon drawings here that you made. These are not.
Everyone always makes me feel stupid for believing for so long.
That's why they try so hard to find Noah's Ark.
Right. But it's like, if you're in elementary school and they read you Dr. Seuss or Aesop's Fables or Mother Goose, and you see the drawings in there,
Yeah.
and they tell you, I mean, they don't even have to tell you. You just
Planet
know.
Fluter looks possible.
You know right away that it's just fiction, and you make that association, then right away you go to Sunday school and they have the same thing, they have cartoon drawings and everything, and you get it. But for some reason, some people don't. No offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I look now and I'm like, I cannot believe I was actually that stupid.
You didn't give me money, did you?
Did I give money? To the church, you mean? Yeah, I tithed and all that, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like the allegory of the cave. It's whatever you're exposed to.
Oh, you're talking about Plato?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever you're exposed to is
Yeah,
true.
I think it really hurt that I was raised so extreme in the Christian cult before, because we didn't celebrate birthdays, holidays, we didn't watch TV, no radio, no friends. Very close to what's called a local church.
Back with decaf for you. Thank you.
They don't even believe that if you give a name to it, it's then like not valid.
No
Zeus?
Kool-Aid allowed.
I think we should just bring back Zeus. Take Zeus. You want to be able to throw lightning bolts?
Zeus ain't got nothing on my experience.
So how about you? You started as
To get money, we're going to have to preach a real God.
Super devil.
And each one of us could become a high priest of like lesser gods.
Although about in high school,
You could
I
be
just
Poseidon.
didn't care one way or the other.
yeah.
Probably wasn't until I in college. We should do something called actually
It's your idea.
studying philosophy. I just started
Oh, it's just
to look at issues and
Zeus is
then
Like what in particular? What issue? That in terms of philosophy?
But you fell out of Navy training. You just didn't want to do it.
I think
Ethics?
You got hurt?
just the question
ridiculous it was.
Oh, yeah.
To say it came from
It just means
You mean like empiricism?
like so much that we have to figure out.
Is that what you mean? Or?
So you just didn't want to do it after 4 months?
anything transcendent
Right.
was
And they wanted
not perceptible directly.
for a whole year. And they're like,
You decided to, realize, okay, I don't believe in any of this stuff.
it's possible.
And then went on and then connected with foundation.
So did you took philosophy classes, or did you take it as your main subject?
Just took classes.
Oh,
I was a physics major.
Yeah, Marines are fun.
Physics, that's like what physical science is anyways, right?
They usually
I think there's
Probably not a lot of people that are into physics that probably stay religious.
stay in the crew training until their leg
Oh,
heals.
I don't know about that.
so yeah, and they actually have some program like if you're really fat.
But it is an interesting question. I'd say most do not, but some
But you won't actually
Oh yeah, some are like me.
just be like
They have belief that doesn't make any sense at all.
and then
They just suspend reason.
yeah.
That absolutely happens.
Because we're like,
But I'm just saying in general, like what they did happen to me. Once you're really shown this is how to reason, this is what evidence really is. It's still at that point. It's a lot harder to stay with. Oh yeah, we don't need evidence and we don't need any reason yet. Still true,
well, I mean, that's like SF training.
I think it's a lot harder for an honest person to still say total firm belief with absolutely nothing to back it up. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why. Because I know the National Academy of Sciences, it's like 95%, non-believing. It's real high. What's funny though is that there's 3 different times they've done checks from 1905. I think it's like 1930 and then 99 or 98. I can't remember exactly, but they did it 3 different times. What's funny is agnostic never changes. The amount of agnostics is always 20%. What changes is the atheists. It went from less atheists in 1905, more atheists, and then more atheists. So atheism is becoming more, and religion is dropping. It started higher and is going down.
Yeah, usually when a school comes along, it's like the officers will take
It's what?
it if they want. Staff
Yeah.
NCOs will be able to
Like I said, I think that when you start demanding a standard for evidence and you don't allow other things to interfere with that. But I think also because even the scientific itself, is willing to challenge itself.
Everybody's like, oh no, seriously.
And say that, well, just because we believe this theory, we can go look at it again and see if it's false. And I think when you really get that attitude even about your own things that you believe in science, then certainly you would apply that to religion. It's hard to hold sacred ideas when you don't even hold them sacred ideas for reality.
Guns are different.
At least that's how I see it.
just have to keep the scope.
Why? What were the reasons? I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's no scientific theory here, none, that a scientist isn't willing to disprove.
Like 18 inches of action.
Even if we could find out that reality is not real, a scientist would be willing to then amend that belief. So then it's hard to add fantasy and say, no, but this we can't challenge.
It's huge.
Falsifiability.
You put it on single shot and I heard people snipe it. The iron sight.
Disprovable by evidence.
Machine gunners be like,
I like it to come
It has been one of the tenets of science.
Yeah. But even like you said, evidence. What we understand as evidence today may not be at a better understanding tomorrow. And so we're willing to amend. So I'm saying science is even willing to amend what it calls evidence. I mean, before we understood dark matter, we still don't totally understand it, but before we even had that concept, that would have been ridiculous.
3 days ago.
I mean, Einstein, proposed black holes, but we didn't have any proof for them. And, so once you do, then okay, now we have to understand. But then, like Stephen Hawking says, it's not really black holes; it should be called gray holes because they're actually not black, or whatever. And the fact that they actually push light, not just So our we have to change our reality again. What we understand needs to be refined a little bit. But I'm just saying, I think when you're used to that, though, it's real hard to say this stays fixed. This stays unchanged and unchallenged. I mean,
there's all these cornfields and stuff, and you go down
I think that you're just not being scientific.
Like Colfax and stuff.
And there's people that, like you said, there's people that still believe it. I think that they just accept that this is my culture. Like you said, if you say, you're from Palestine, you just accept that. You don't say an American anymore. You say I'm this. And you hold that for the rest of your life. No matter if you're now an American. So I think that we do that. I mean, it's like me, I'm from California, and I'm going to stay in California for the rest of my life because I was born there. Even if I'm no longer there. So I think that sometimes we do that with ideas. Like you said about people say recovering Catholic because they don't want to say they're not Catholic.
So it depends on who you're.
No, not you. I'm saying that when people say recovering, like as they're still owning that identity.
I don't know.
Remain culturally.
Yeah, culturally. Yeah.
They had
I just think it's,
weapon that shut down.
referring to Catholicism as something like alcoholism.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying people do this. Like I think that there's people that still consider themselves Jewish, even though they no longer believe in their religion. But they call. That's why some of them I know. As I read a book, it was called "Uncovering the Bible" by an archaeologist. He starts out Jewish, but then he ends up saying he's a secular humanist because he realized all this stuff was false. It doesn't match reality. The archaeological evidence disproves all the beginning books of the Bible.
Because we have courts.
Nothing before King David should be even considered to be reality historically. So he said he realized that it just, but the fact that he still, practices all the rituals and stuff as a cultural thing, to me doesn't make any sense. But I mean, people do that.
To push forward, it's like Russia. It's just all this empty land.
That's what it's for.
The reality is, God doesn't matter as much as the community.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see that. There are in the religious tradition, there are just good
All those
people.
big cities are
Yeah,
just
I guess there's less grass there, so there's less places to hide.
And you can't say anything. You can't dispute that.
Well, I think you can say that you don't agree with that, but I think that people have the right to do things I don't like. I do that all the time for other people. I do things they don't like.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it. There's been a lot of violence done in the name of religion.
Oh, I do look at it that way.
And in that sense, kind of skeptical. I think, ultimately, is it denied? And in some cases, maybe not. On the other hand, it's just maybe bad people are doing things in the name of religion. It's kind of hard to say.
you do not brainwash people.
So realistically,
You can't tax me and speak
It's
Russian.
an
You have to
issue
tax me
people
and speak
looked at
English.
it different ways.
realistically, though, what civilians should be carrying if they were to go to
One has to wonder.
So, do you consider yourself anti-theist or anti-religionist also, or no?
because it's going to be like
mean, I'm not judging it. I am.
I'm
So
not- don't-
I am anti-theist and anti-religionist. I have no problem saying it. I'm not anti-people. You know, I tell people I don't even define how they should define atheism. I just define it for myself. I feel that everyone has the right to define it their own way because guess what? We're not a cult. There is no rules we have to sign up for.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm anti-religious in any because I don't.
So you're irreligious? You're just not religious?
Irreligious, yeah.
It's just how you do it.
And
I mean, you see
as long as it,
people,
you know, straight, you know.
One video I watched, the dude was saying
many
it was,
good things. So as long as my feeling is, you know, if you're in a group that's doing good things, then fine. If you're in a group that, you know,
and like every
killing
freeway
in the
they
name
kind
of
of
religion, then
there'd be like a
I'm
drainage
anti
ditch.
that.
There'd be a bomb under there, and they tried to
How about you?
put
Yeah, I'm not anti-religion at all. And in fact, I don't think that there's anything that's called like killing in the name of religion. It's usually, to me, all wars have to do with resources, and religion is sort of like something that makes it more palatable. Nobody's going to say I'm going to kill because I want resources or I want land.
So you don't believe there's ever been a war for religion?
No, I
No
think
holy war, even when they say it is?
No, I don't think it's always, to me, a war over resources and property. And again, religion is something that you sort of make it more palatable for it to sort of gain like the masses for them to join your cause. And it sort of just makes it more palatable. But I think all wars have to do with property and resources. Whether we're talking about historical wars, present wars, future wars, I have, to me, no doubt that it's never really truly in the name of religion. Everybody uses that to make it like, oh, it's a holy thing, but it never really is, I think.
So how about the fact that, like you said, resources. Some resources are given value by religion. So, like say the Jerusalem. Jerusalem would be just another, pot of dirt, if it wasn't for religion giving it significance. So for me, I'm just saying that the fact that people were fighting over that land would be not as significant if it wasn't for religion.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of just that whole area, it's not really over Jerusalem, sort of that whole area.
Well, or Palestine in general.
Yeah, it's just a strategic location in this world, and I mean, sort of just keeping the Middle East.
Right, but I know, but I'm saying it's not more strategic than other areas. I mean, you could say
it is in a sense, right? Like for the longest time, oil was a huge resource, and keeping that region mired in conflict is extremely beneficial, right? So that's the way I see it. Again, I think there's a reason for. Again, everything seems like the heart of a lot of the conflicts is the Middle East.
I'm just saying that, so you think that it's only resources is why the Jews don't want the Palestinians to have their own place, or?
I think so. I think yeah.
So not really.
Didn't they just start some brouhaha over natural gas off the coast of
I mean, if you hear, totally, it's always about, and in Lebanon, like, it's the same thing, sort of any encroachment, sort of as far as Israel's concerned, right, has to do, it's always about, I mean, right, like that wall that they drew along, like the West Bank. It's on sort of exactly where the water lies. I mean, you can actually sort of look at the aquifers and you can see the line of that wall. That to me is empirical evidence of the fact that it's always about whether it's water resources, natural gas, whatever it might be. So, but it's just easy to make it about this or that. So nobody's ever going to say it's about resources. I mean,
Right, so when the Catholic did the Spanish Inquisition, that was all not because of religion.
Again,
that was about power.
Yeah.
That was about
But they killed Jews, they killed Muslims, they killed anyone that didn't.
That was about power.
And burned witches.
Don't get
I
me
wouldn't
wrong.
be more
Don't get me
surprised
wrong.
if they killed more people that had something they wanted, like a farm or
Don't get me wrong. They used religion.
I think that's I totally agree with that. You use religion. Again, it just makes it so that it's like a holy thing that you're doing, and it's not, you're not some just greedy bastard.
I think the conflict in the Middle East is a religious issue, but at the same time, the reason it's become a religious issue is because people have used religion for this power struggle. And now you can't gear everybody toward that and then back down and say, well, actually, there's no reason for us to fight over this. And again, it's a power thing.
I mean, to me, there's no reason why Palestinians shouldn't have a place. I mean,
They have a place.
no, I know, but I'm saying whatever. But you know what I'm saying is being the Jewish saying
They
that.
have all the surrounding countries around Israel.
No, but Israel doesn't, and us don't want to say that they, you know, and they have their own country or whatever, own sovereignty.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? This comment about all the surrounding sort of countries. It's like, you know, somebody telling you to go move to Canada. It's basically that. Canada is sort of similar to where you are. Nobody wants to be displaced from wherever they are. So.
Well, I'm not saying they should. I'm saying they shouldn't. I don't see if it's not religion, because genetically, they already did studies. The DNA very similar. The Palestinians and the Jews are very close. So it's not like there's an ethnic thing. So if it's not ethnic, then what else is it? If it's not, you say it's not religious and it's not ethnic.
I want to make a distinction between, I think a lot of people actually, like at the individual level, totally view it as being about religion. But I think the people actually that start wars, who have the power to start wars, I don't think it's ever about religion. But I think you can totally, again, to sort of get people, sort of galvanize people, move them, you absolutely have to use religion. Because most people are not interested in that. Again, sort of, I do make a distinction between people who start the wars and people who sort of perpetuate it and keep it going. So,
Go to Indian casinos.
have I ever gone to Indian casinos? Yeah.
I go to a lot of Indian casinos for my job, and they are all stuck on the worst pieces of land that you could possibly pull out of your butt.
Well, in the U.S., actually, speaking of Indians, Native Americans, the U.S. would take, there was Indian schools where they took the Indian kids, cut their hair, wouldn't let them speak their language, wouldn't let them do their religion. So, I mean, to me, that's
They stuck them on shitty pieces of land.
well, they did that too. But I'm saying that they actually wanted to remove their religion and make them learn the Bible. So I see that as another religion. I think religion is constantly, you know, the aspect that allows people to do the things. Like you said about wanting war, but there's a value system that religion sets up. Like I said, if you don't have value for Jerusalem, there's no reason to fight over it. It's not the greatest place for resources. There's places that are better for resources. Just like Mecca, you know, in Saudi Arabia, its value is not because of the resources in Mecca. It has to do with the religious significance.
Yeah, but nobody's clamoring to go to Mecca. I don't know.
Well, but if someone were to go to war with Saudi Arabia and would do anything in Mecca, I guarantee that would be more important than if they took the oil.
I mean, maybe.
Imagine if you bombed the biggest city in Iran, or in Saudi Arabia, or in Iraq, or if you bombed the mosque, Dome of the Rock mosque. I guarantee you, even if no one died, the impact would be hellacious. It would be all-out war, and it would be about religion, not about resources of any kind. I mean, guarantee whoever did that, like if America did that, we would be immediately at war.
With pretty much everybody.
I'm not saying we should do that. I'm just saying that it's the values that it sets up. I agree that religion is not what starts it. People start it, but people have values, and that's why they want to do things. And I do agree. Greed always is going to be an effect. People use religion for the thing. Look at televangelists. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen. People constantly use religion to make money and to get power and to dominance. Thank you. So I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That absolutely happens. People misuse any tool they can. Religion happens to be a very good tool because it allows people to do things that you wouldn't normally do. You can hate someone and feel it's moral. You can harm someone and feel it's moral if you add religion. Something that, with reason, is a lot harder to do. like I said, to me, reason, Palestinian. Why are we even fighting? Why don't they already have their country? What is it? What is the problem? I mean, reason. Why is America giving all this money only to the Jews? It doesn't make any sense. We pay more for their military than they do. That's ridiculous. That's not even crazy. That's insane. It doesn't.
Actually, there was that recent stuff where they were threatening. If we removed support, they were threatening to go to war with their
Right, which is you know what it sounds like to me? Like the mafia. If you don't pay me, I'm gonna destroy buildings.
Well, it's more like if you don't pay me, I'm going to destroy myself.
Well,
That's because basically if they stop getting paid and then they went to war, they raced.
but why do we protect them? It's not just because of democracy. It's because of religion. Because we consider ourselves to be a Christian nation, and they are, by caveat, part of that, arena. Because of the Old Testament. If Christians didn't have the Old Testament, they would care less about Jews.
Don't they need the Jews to build a temple or something before Jesus comes back?
Yeah, there's something along that.
Or to be a sovereign nation. So it's again, like I said, religion is the motivating factor for a lot of this unreasoned nonsense. But really the whole reason that it's even a country, and even Iraq as a country, and Saudi Arabia, all these places were cut up after World War II. Same with a lot of Europe. We just draw lines. Okay, now this is Egypt. Egypt used to be something else. Oh yeah, Armenia. Yeah, now you're something different. Oh yeah, Turkey. Now you're this. So we go in there and imposed a lot of stuff, and then wonder why these people are fighting, even beyond religion. Like you were saying, I don't think it's all religion for me, but I do think it is a factor. But it's not all, because I think some of it has to do with we falsely just made these things, and then now people are like the Kurds. The Kurds are now behind Iraqi lines, in a sense, and so, the whole thing, it's like you segmented and put these people, and all of a sudden they're like, well, hey, what the heck?
I almost talked my friend into going and fighting with the Kurds.
Fighting with the Kurds or fighting
You were talking to someone else and doing it? Hey, you know what? You go do that.
He was all like, oh, we need to do something about ISIS. Use this website called the Lions of Rojava or something, like they renamed the area Rojava. And basically there's a lot of Americans and British and German Westerns over there fighting as volunteers.
Well, ISIS has a huge presence on social media. I think they have a Twitter account. And they're like tricking women into like joining them. And they like promise them riches and marry like Arab prince and stuff like that. And then they're just indoctrinated into like, not indoctrinated, but they're just forced into like, your standard sort of Muslim. What's that term when it's like the very they've got to wear a
Hijab.
yeah, and it's like you're going from a country that has equal rights for women to like I don't want to put it that way, but it's kind of what it is.
Going from a third generation slave back to a first generation slave was really something.
Yeah, but I mean, even look at America. Look at what women think is romantic. The 50 Shades of Grey is certainly not kindness.
Well, you have to realize that it's all consensual. Like, a lot of people talk
Well, I'm saying, but if a woman chooses to go over to the Middle East and wear a hijab and be that, then it is consensual. I don't agree with it, but I mean,
it is consensual.
Yesterday, and she said the whole theater was packed full of minivans.
It's mommy porn. Well, the thing is, it's romance. It's just a romance with sexual titillation.
And B&D.
Yeah, that's sexual.
But really, it's really because he's a billionaire. That's the appeal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the draw.
It's like,
Yeah.
sure, if he's a billionaire, he can do whatever.
I mean, if he was Joe Schmo, forget it.
If you lived in a trailer park and says he wanted to tie you up, then it's more like, you're on. No, I have nothing wrong with someone who wants to do that. People own themselves. If they want to go and subjugate themselves,
People
okay.
own themselves until they decide they don't want to.
But they still own the right to give themselves away. That is their right.
Well, I feel like they're getting misinformed though.
Then the contract's null and void.
Right. If you're lied to, I would say that's definitely a different thing.
And that's
You have the
really-
right to do things that are bizarre or harmful.
But they're targeting 16, 18-year-old girls. And they tell them, you have a great life here. Simple.
To me, anybody that would do that has to know something. I mean, you see ISIS killing people. I mean, cutting their heads off, burning them alive. I don't think that anyone in America that I know that would be on social media would not know that fact. I don't know how gullible you could be, but that's you obviously want to join faces of death.
Did you order separately?
I agree they're gullible in the fact that, but a lot of people are gullible and fall for ideas. And I think that our schools, promote too much dumbing down, in general. I mean, it's reading, writing, arithmetic. Reason should be thrown in there. Another R.
I think part of the
What'd you say?
problem.
I don't think you can teach that. Some people are just going to get fooled by the guy that says he's a Prince of Zaire or something, and he's got $1 billion in the bank.
I think you can teach critical thinking.
He needs you to give him 10 G's to get it out, and then you'll get half.
Well, you can't teach everybody to read well, and you can't teach everyone to do, writing well. And so I don't think that there's any, guarantee that because you put people through school that they're going to have, actual education. But I do think that we should try to.
Part of the problem with our education is we're trying to give people too much information. Not that it's not enough, but it's the depth at which we go into certain subjects. Like, it's a good idea in principle to, when you're teaching people calculus, to teach them how you actually get to the equations you get, and then teach them the tools and the shortcuts. But the problem is you're spending half your time teaching them how you got to these tools, and then you're teaching them these shortcuts. And if you go to carpentry school, they teach you how to use a hammer. They don't teach you how they make a hammer. And I feel like it should be something along the same lines. It should be, let's teach them 2 + 2 and things like that. But we don't necessarily need to know how you get the quadratic formula. We don't necessarily need to know how you get to calculus shortcuts. You just need to know how to use it in order to actually be an effective math user. Yeah, and I feel like that's where we're getting too much information to people because it's stuff they're not going to use. And I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that. It's well, then they're not getting the full picture and they won't understand it. They're not understanding
They
it.
can learn that later on.
Yeah.
Right now, it's teach how to use it in their daily lives so it becomes relevant.
Yeah.
And they might want to actually use it.
I agree. More real world applications, definitely.
I use the radio example. In computer programming, they use a radio example a lot. You have a radio, and when you're programming, it's like building a radio. But you're building it for the end user, who's not going to know any of the internal stuff. All they know is the stuff on the outside, on, off, volume, tune. And it's kind of the same way, at least with how we have math now these days. There should be, like I said, the way to use the tools, but you don't necessarily know the mechanism behind it in order to use it.
It's nothing you can do. Government schools don't.
I don't think there's nothing because I mean I was a believer in going to college changed me. You said you go to college changed you. Going to college changed you. So I do agree though that you can be learned too much to where you get overloaded because we're not good at doing
Oh, no,
that.
fine, thank you.
But I do think that it definitely can change. We can absolutely get to more people.
I think we just need to change the depth and the breadth of school, and then we kind of also have to allow people to choose their vocation earlier on.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And people are hesitant to do that because we're the land of opportunity where you can do anything. So they want you to be able to learn a little bit of everything,
yeah.
or actually a lot of it of everything, and it's just cramming too much.
Little kid don't know what he wants to be when he grows up. They don't want to be astronauts and.
Give them. You know, we have aptitude tests.
Yeah.
Give them a vocational test, you know, at a young age, and monitor that every year or every couple of years. And you can tell, is his career path going to change? Is he like a divergent, or do we already know what he's going to be good at? And
Or if we could also offer things. Here's some things you could be good at. Do they interest you?
yeah, and we sort of have that in high school, but it's, I think at an earlier age, even better, people can tailor their courses accordingly. The other problem with that though is we get these Walmart schools, you know, 1,000 kids in a school, and you can't have specialized curriculum. You have to have everybody. You have to have a cookie cutter. Everybody has the same course, and people think, well, that's what's fair. I don't like what you. Just because it's fair doesn't mean it's right. It should be the advanced people go to advanced classes. The people who need a little help go to the
Lower classes.
all the classes that need help. You know?
Special ed.
And
So you see the river and then you don't see the river.
Again, your job, your teaching, your schooling gets tailored to your specific needs. But you have to do a smaller school. You have to do like 500 kids in school at least.
And it doesn't do more the students that are good if there's like 50 students per teacher.
They had a pre-built.
Right, and they should also teach in different ways because there's like I think it's like 8 different styles of learning. So everybody doesn't even learn the same. So you teacher, and I know they're starting to do that though. They're starting to in some places, like you said, but it still takes more specialized because you have to teach. Some are visual, auditory, some are physical, some are spatial. Exactly, combination.
Learning how to be a good slave.
That's important. It's like the 10th time we use the word slave today.
Yeah.
Twice.
You said the magic word.
What? Slave?
It's magic. Doesn't have to make sense. I told you that. Because reasons.
I like when people say that faith validates their belief. It's like faith is a belief. It's like saying beliefs validate beliefs. That's circular reasoning right there. That's not even. My evidence is my belief, which I believe.
Well, and here's how it goes in any online debate that I've ever been. Okay, somebody presents the argument. Okay, this is why God is real. This is why Christianity is real. This is why particular whatever about Christianity is real. And then I go, prove it. And we keep going back and forth, and eventually it just eats away at whatever they have. And they're like, well, ultimately it's been revealed to me. And they go from trying to oppose and prove their religion to me to trying to defend it and prove it to themselves. And that's where you go
They're a little bit soft.
every time.
It's my truth.
It's my truth, yeah.
I'm sorry. Truth is not a property that does that.
We've got to pass.
It's either true or it's not true. There's not some special truth condition that you get to have for yourself.
Well, yeah, but you got to realize that their preacher has taught them that term, personal truth. in order to justify, believing without evidence. Just because you can't prove it doesn't mean it's not true to you. I see a lot of similarities.
So you around here when they was it Lakewood or was it the Pierce County Council tried to put the Ten Commandments up in their
Oh no, they tried to put In God We Trust.
was it the God We Trust over
Pierce
there?
County and Clark County.
I've only been here for 4 months. And I live in South Seattle. It's my first time coming down here.
Pierce County and Clark County now having their town hall In God We Trust. And no one really cares about Clark County, I guess, but Pierce County
Went to
kind of
Paris a
big.
couple of times.
So
I went
What's funny though,
to Paris a bunch of times when I lived
if they go back to the Old Testament,
when I was there.
you're not supposed to use God's name. Certainly not use it in some way of writing on things.
well, if you say God, that's okay. You just can't say like
Yeah, Yahweh or whatever, yeah.
You can't be more specific.
Switzerland, Austria.
Not to
It was
mention,
an awesome piece of politicking. He rallies his base. He looks like win or lose, he looks like the hero.
Right, yeah.
I'm the Christian guy.
I was there on April 1st when it snowed.
There's like centuries-old wine cellar.
It's more realistic.
Separate wines. First one was telling us something that they were just.
That's like the ultimate deconstruction.
I didn't know this, but just.
Like like literary deconstruction, where you sort of in one swoop, you can sort of change someone's perspective on something. And that I think is the best example.
The first was moderate crowd.
I think most people though, when even if they change their opinion, even while you're arguing with them, they won't really say, you know what, I just
No, they
changed.
did not. I was watching.
They may change, but later they'll acknowledge that. Not usually.
Or
I
they
mean,
won't,
That was
and they'll
before
just
California well known.
forget what you said.
yeah. But I'm saying even if they didn't forget, if they actually changed and stay changed, I don't think it's very common. People go, you know what, I was wrong. Because we don't like to be wrong. Yeah, well, yeah. We don't really like to admit it either. Definitely, absolutely.
I don't have to worry about that because I'm never wrong.
Or you're never right? Or you're just less wrong all the time.
Yeah, I'm just less wrong than the other person. That's the important thing.
I try to say I have an open relationship with the truth. I want to be open to new truth. And I think that being wrong is a position that we will always be at if we're never willing to stay to what's right. Because there's always some new information that we need to learn and adapt to.
Can I grab that pen if you don't mind?
Still photos and all that. It's all public.
So what do you think?
They all put it together.
You're like, it's a bunch of hogwash.
No, you guys have thought about this a lot more than I have. I didn't come to sort of my position based on any kind of reason, anything. It's just like I feel like I still have the gene to believe, and that's all it is. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, here it's a lot. Atheists and agnostics tend to spend a lot more time thinking about it just because religion is so many religions are so in our face.
But I do agree with her. It definitely it depends on your personality too. Not all atheists. Some people could be atheists for a long time or agnostic for a long time and be more apatheist, and it really doesn't matter.
I suppose I fall into that category. Again, I haven't given it as much thought as anybody here, so.
But your thoughts are still valuable.
I know, I believe they are.
Did they not give you?
And I do think that you don't have to come up with a position to say nonsense is nonsense. I think it's a given, you know. Grimm's fairy tales we don't have to decide that they're fairy tales. We can just say they're fairy tales and then move on. So I don't think that you have to have a strong position to say that nonsense is nonsense.
Are you gonna post this video all in one chunk, or are you gonna edit it down?
I never edit.
Okay.
Because I want real.
I know. I'm gonna watch what it says.
This will be the 8th video that I have of doing this. I want real, because I feel like we get packish atheism. We get mainly one kind of opinion or one side, and then you don't, and it's always cleaned up, or we get usually debates where it's that's all it is us against something else. It's not just atheists talking. It's not atheists making mistakes. It's not atheists coming up with all kinds of different thinking. So I want real. I call it atheist reality TV. I want real. I like real. Plus, also, I think it's helpful because, like, you know, if all we see is like these really informed, you know, educated atheists, you know, someone like you that just feels like, you know, you're apatheist, it doesn't really matter, you haven't thought about it, maybe you won't fish, maybe you won't. There's people that like that too. There's not one kind of atheist. I mean, I'm a firebrand. I'm out there like completely. I stand on the street corner and hold it's okay to be an atheist. I mean, I'm like extreme, but I don't think that, I always tell people, I don't think that my position is more valid than any other atheist. I think that if you just don't believe and you told no one, you're just as valid as me. So I disagree with this like war there is, like somehow someone's doing atheism right. You know, I would say I disagree because to me, well, no, but I mean opinions. Because it was like, well, I do atheism, you know, correct or something. Yeah, really, no one does. How's that? You know, you don't believe, you just did it correct. Okay, there you go. So I'm just, because I mean, there's a right style for me, but I'm just saying I don't believe there's a right style. Because I've heard people before, like, oh, Damien, you're too out there. You know, too out there compared to who? Oh, yours a standard? You know, and the same thing I think with some people like have said, oh, well, people that don't get involved, they're not doing it right. Why is that? Why does someone have to do anything? I mean, there's no handbook. If there is, I'm going to stop being an atheist because I'm not joining nothing.
I'm gonna make a handbook.
and you can for you, and anyone else who wants to follow you, that's fine. But I'm not.
The laziest handbook you ever read.
It's got one page. It just says, "This is it," and there's nothing there. Welcome. But no, I posted, like I said, and I did it originally. I have like 5,000 friends on Facebook, and I'm real active. I have 3 groups I run, and pages, and anyway, so I had friends who were like, man, I really wish I could go to groups, you know, and stuff, because you get to talk to all these other atheists, and we like, cause I have friends, like one of my friends in Poland was like, I've never even met another atheist. Yeah. And they also, you know, so, and there's people I have friends in India, and I have in different places, and they're, even in the U.S., I have some that, you know, that, like, I have a friend in Ohio who lives in this small place in Ohio, and then the nearest place is like 100 miles away to go to a meetup. So they never go, ever. And so they said, oh man, too bad someone doesn't, you know, like, you know, film them or, you know. I thought, yeah, that's true. Why doesn't someone do that? Why doesn't somebody film a meetup? I thought, well, hell, I'm somebody, and I'm certainly out there. Why don't I film a meetup?
I just had this awesome idea for a gimmick to sell. Meditation paper. Let the blankness of the paper reflect in your mind. You get this special meditation paper from 1995, and what it is it's just the purest white, and if you stare at it,
But could it be white or white?
it's whiter. It's the whitest white you've ever seen.
Has that been blessed by a 20 sprays?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you gotta do something to it.
I'll make something.
He's gonna make an atheist priest.
And on the back, there'll be like a disclaimer. But you want to stay at the front side.
Disclaimer to the back.
There's disclaimer on the back is invisible. You just have to know it's there.
Yeah, you get sued. You get someone like went across.
No, it's there. No.
Nope, Your Honor, there's an invisible disclaimer on the back.
I can't believe dude in Poland never met another atheist.
Yeah.
Poland doesn't have a lot of atheists.
I guess.
I would have.
Or he lives out in the country or something.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I mean, there's people, like I said, even in the United States that haven't, because of their geographically, you can be geographically isolated.
Scandinavia, though, is like has I want to say secular countries. They don't really like when they get asked what's the official religion, they're just like, what? Like what's your favorite color?
Yeah, but so I think Scandinavia actually sometimes has official religion, but nobody's actually believes it. Like I think it's is it Sweden or something that has like the Swedish church or some kind of a thing, but no, it's Christian, but nobody really like they're all atheists. They don't really. It's more like a that's how you get married, you know.
Well, have you seen some of like the Catholic churches in Africa? They're vastly different because they've had to adapt to like the local customs and things. And it's completely different.
Mexico is the same way. Their Catholic Church adopted a bunch of crazy saints.
The only religion that stays consistent no matter where you go. Because every 6 months, well, first of all, they have like they're really interconnected. So they're really good at like communicating with the home office in Utah. Every 6 months they have the president, not the country president, but Munson, the religion president. He's like the Mormon Pope. And he does an announcement. They have this big huge event. They have like 1,000 people singing and stuff like that. And but they're really interconnected, and he lays down the rules right then and there. So there's no hearsay, there's no, lost. There might be some lost in translation,
but I worked as a truck driver, and I actually worked out of Salt Lake City. So I taught truck drivers.
The streets are based on.
Yeah, they're based on how far they are from the temple, east, west, south, north. Oh yeah, that's the whole grid. Once you learn that, you learn how far you are from the temple. You learn.
Usually Salt Lake City, I just stop there when I'm driving somewhere else.
But what I was saying is because I've interacted with ones that were like from, like you said, from Mexico or South America, and they said that how the Mormon church is down there is way more like multicultural, but it's not as multicultural when you move up to Salt Lake. Salt Lake is way more white, and their opinion is way more racially superior than multicultural. Said it really pissed him off because he ended up marrying a white Mormon, and they were like his parents were like treating him like terrible. So and they were saying in general that the Mormon church, remember, used to not even allow blacks. So I mean they're not like. I mean, that's saying. So I think that they're not the greatest on multicultural ethnic.
It's crazy for a church to like not want somebody. Usually they'll take your mom's teeth if they got gold in them.
No, they probably took your money. I don't think the Mormon church would have had no problem taking your money.
That's probably why they're integrated.
That's probably why they integrated it all.
Well, because I think they estimate they have like $100 billion or something because they all donate like 25%.
Well, they have to give a lot. It's definitely a different.
Being inarticulate forces them into violence. Cut off.
It's basically the same skill set. Talking somebody out of the money.
Speaking of that, have you seen that one African American guy that does stuff? He like curses and everything for Jesus.
That guy from New York that hates Obama.
Like the guy that was the guy who was.
No. That guy's a total whack job too. That's not what I was talking about. But yes, that guy's a lunatic. The guy says the semen is in the Starbucks coffee. That's why people like it. Yeah, that guy is something else. That wasn't what I was talking about. There's another guy that actually, I think.
Oh, the Red Ragged Jesus? Pastor Curry Thomas says God all loud. He asks, you send him $1,000 or something, and he sends you this handkerchief that's supposedly got the blood of Jesus on it, and you're supposed to pray with it and send it back.
No, that sounds like a whole other one, but yeah, con men are definitely not.
Every dollar you give him, you'll get back 10 times.
Understanding the human mind.
He's like, just give Jesus $1,000.
No, he says the F word. He says he was on this other guy was on public television. He kicked him off because he was cursing and stuff. He's outrageous. I was saying because he reminds me, he looks like and acts like this. I mean, like that is what he was. And then he just found Jesus and didn't change anything except now. Talks about the Bible.
Or 17th century.
Doesn't Don Magic Juan pretend to be a Christian now?
Who's that?
You don't know Don Magic Juan? He's just some old pimp from the 70s that still dresses like a cartoon character and stuff.
Well,
He's been in some Snoop Dogg videos or something.
well, I believe Snoop Dogg now supposedly is Rastafarian religion. Not just for the
I
pot.
know Snoop Dogg was pretending to be a pimp for a while.
Yeah.
Like online, there's all these podcasts by pimps that are hilarious to listen to.
I believe where it started. The mathematics of discontinuity.
Half of them give up because they're just hounded by the police after a while. And they just switch over to being a preacher. That's funny. He knows all about it. Tell him.
You're like, back in my days as a pimp.
Within a limited society that could predict some events with a reasonable accuracy.
So did you get what you wanted out of the meeting? You're like, yes, I will not come back.
Zero expectations, honestly. I just my therapist recommended that I join meetups, and I looked at sort of interesting groups that are in Tacoma, honestly, and this is really
She's like, and now I need therapy, but hey, you know, it's a circular thing.
Basically, if it's not like religious or political, it's kind of like a swingers group, everything else.
What this is?
No, not this. Everything else like meetups.
He's like, no, but for me personally, it is.
I have a friend.
She's like, well, now this meeting got interesting.
Like wine, dine, and happy hour stuff. And basically,
Sure.
it's like
Add some more creamer.
it's like speed dating or something. All the single people go hang out in it. Like my buddy, she was trying to explain it to my other friend who's kind of dumb. And he's like, "Oh, like a swingers group or something?" He went to one. And
I like algae.
What, a swingers group?
No, it's like, it was supposedly to go have drinks at happy hours. It's a meetup group. But my buddy ended up calling it a swingers group, and she got all offended.
Well,
I started calling it a swingers group too.
I think that's the difference between men's and women's opinion. When men think of going dancing, they think sex. When women think of dancing, they think dancing. It's just this whole problem. Going out for drinks, guy, sex. Women, going out for drinks. Whereas a guy, wake up in the morning, sex. Women wake up in the morning, it's the morning.
My buddy keeps texting me. He's like reconfirming stuff that we talked about this morning. He's like, you were asleep, so I want to make sure. And I'm like, well, stop calling before noon.
Camera when I use these cameras. And the recorder.
Oh no, I'm fine, thank you.
Is that an anarchist A or an atheist A?
It's atheist, but I'm also an anarchist.
The anarchist day has that.
I'm actually a mutualist. It's a
Mutualist?
mutualist. It's a branch of socialist anarchists.
There's labels for everything. Clearly, I need to just get a manual of some sorts.
It looks more like a Star Trek communicator.
Yeah. That would be cool. That's some technical.
Well, I like to define things so that people know exactly what I think and how I think. So I'm not misinterpreting. If you're gonna hate me, I want it to be because you understand what I am, not because it's just your. No, they do. They start that, and then sometimes happens, but also sometimes more hate happens. I get both.
I prefer not to be late.
What's your brand again?
But what, of anarchist?
Yeah.
Mutualist.
I never heard that one before.
Mutualist is in between individualism and communalism. So it believes in both. It believes that there's always people that have rights, and the group is a bunch of people with rights. So, cause there's socialist anarchists at the extreme would be just communal. In other words, it's only the group that kind of matters, and individualist anarchists, like capitalist anarchists, believe that individual is more important than the group.
Oh, you got the same one on both arms?
Yeah. I don't agree that the individual is more important than the group, and I don't agree that the group is more important than the individual. So that's why I'm in the middle. I believe that a group is not a thing. A group is a bunch of people, but they all have individual rights. So I think that we should never forget individual rights, but there's no individual that's not in a group.
Now here's a question. What about generations now versus generations in the future? Because there's an interesting sort of philosophy when it comes to like if you.
So what are you asking?
So I'm trying to clarify.
Oh, okay.
So when you
Mr. Big Time.
yeah when you work for like the Department of Natural Resources, they have a philosophy that was created that says that no trees or natural resources can be harvested for the benefit of one generation over another. So it prevents you from harvesting a stand of trees when generations later on can benefit from it, and vice versa. It prevents you from saving that for a future generation when the current generation can benefit from it. And it sort of just makes it so that nobody can take those natural resources. And at the same time, it makes it so that, let's say you need to harvest these now, or there will be no future generations, well then that's a good reason to...
So you're explaining to me, or you're asking me a question.
I'm asking what's your take on that, now that I've kind of introduced you to it just now?
Well, I believe in the socialist anarchist vision of green anarchism, so I already believe in taking, to me, we didn't get natural resources from the past, we're borrowing it from the future. So to me, there is no position of now, there's always towards the future.
You and the DNR will get along with that.
Who?
The Department of Natural Resources.
Oh, yeah. So I think that there's always, but then mutualist believes in mutual relationships. There's not an only at all. Everything is constantly in like an ecosystem interacting with everything else. How I treat myself, if I'm in this environment now, still affects her, even if I'm not actually doing anything to her. And the way she treats herself still affects me. It's like, there's no one's in like this bubble of all by themselves, walking around with 100% rights and 100% themselves. You're constantly affecting everybody.
In Washington State, we love our parks. You're not gonna convince anybody to cut down anything that's like Mount Rainier or anything that's a national forest or a park right now.
Well, yeah,
if the government collapsed right now, there'd be some kind of voluntary group that would defend the parks.
Yeah, I was just like talking about the actual philosophy behind that and how that's set up, because it's hard to word something like that.
But see, so difference, like I said, a capitalist anarchist would say that things can be monetized, and I believe that in money. See, like a socialist anarchist doesn't believe in money. They don't even want, Well, no, that's still more this. No, what it means is everybody. In other words, like everybody in America would get a wage just for being alive, not because they work.
The last couple weeks I saw on YouTube, I've been watching stuff about that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I do think. Yeah, I don't totally agree with that. I think that money is used as a tool against people, and that needs to change. I don't think money is inherently bad. I think that money. So capitalism says money is good. They federal bank. No, it's way more than that. Like they just think of this. It's just so if a rich person takes out a loan, they can get it for 5% or half of a percent. But yet, a poor person is being on a credit card 32%. To me, that is using money abusively against a person. I think that is absolutely immoral. It should be illegal.
I don't think that he should have been approved for a credit card.
No, I'm saying in a mutual society, you would not be. That would be a crime. You would be committing fraud. You would be committing a crime. In other words, a mutualist believe in what's called a non-profit banking, where the government basically or society sets up banks to give the lowest amount possible to all people. That way money is used to benefit people and not just elite holding over and making money. You don't have the bank, falling because the bank never was trying to... See, the reason the banks fall is because they take your money and then they go and they do risky investments trying to make money from your money. But if that doesn't happen, the banks don't fall because they were never doing that. If they were totally sovereign and only they were non-profit, there would never be a bank collapse. Because
the reason banks fall isn't necessarily because they take your money, it's because they take money from the federal bank.
No, but I'm saying, but they do risky. If they did no risky investments,
the federal bank
they're betting on black.
Yeah, right.
Takes its money from a printer. And so,
This is a British anarchist guy wrote a book called Debt, the First 500 or 5,000 Years. Have you seen that? I don't know his name. But he gives a good speech. He talks about like in the beginning, like even though there was like pound sterling or something, like the people didn't actually have any money. So like, well, he would like I'd go sell my cow to him. He'd give me like 4 chickens, and there was always a little bit of overage. Like it was always about he owed me a chicken or he owed me and it was kind of like rude to settle up totally with somebody. It was like, good day, sir.
that way you kept doing business.
Yeah, in a small town, everybody always owed a little something to the butcher, and he owed a little something to the guy who catches fish.
Yeah, it's very complicated to explain all how I think on things, because it's not, a lot of the things that you already think are so, I don't agree with. I believe in no hierarchy, which is hard for most people to understand. So that no hierarchy. In other words, your value is completely equal to mine. You're not different from being a female. You're not different from being a different race. You're not different from being a different size or height or but it starts at every level, I believe. For me, every level, no hierarchy. That also means no president, no mayors, none of that. To me, it should be direct democracy, which means the people vote on the thing and get it done. You do not have, just like people don't think it will happen, but nobody knows who runs the electric company. Nobody knows who runs the water system. When those people don't do their job, they get the fear of being fired. Politicians, they don't do that. They get glorified for doing almost nothing or nothing, or actually stealing from us. They get glorified. Somehow they're good or better. The whole it's total hierarchy. And then when they do actually do something that we want, like, oh, he gave us rights, the right to marry. Oh, so wonderful. Wonderful. To me, it should be the exact opposite. No one can vote on rights. Period.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get to vote on that. No, you don't get to vote on that. You know who gets to be married? Everybody. That's it. Period. Plural marriage. Anyone above it as an adult should be able to get married. To the country, their thing. Period.
Another thing I think should be allowed is should be able to marry polygamy.
Yeah, I said that. Plural marriage.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Well, yeah, plural marriage. You should be able to gay marriage. You know, like I said, other countries. I think the fact that you can't marry someone in a country without having them somehow, you have to go a whole big rigmarole to get them, to become a citizen. You have the rights. I also don't believe in nations. I don't believe in that. To me, we're human race. I think it's this flawed thinking that we're a place, we're a thing, and somehow this person's worth more than that person. I just... So, like I said, I'm an anarchist. I don't like...
There's about 4 or 5 of them in town.
What, anarchists? Well, there's probably more here, definitely.
No, there's more in Olympia.
Well, I meant that like where I came from in California, there's more...
More anarchists up here?
Yeah. There definitely is promoted by because it's a value. Really, it's a value that creates it. I'm an axiologist, which is everything's about value. Values how you place everything else. Once you understand someone's value, you understand everything else that goes to it because everything connects to it.
I feel like the system of government is necessary.
But there's some of them still exist.
But I think local government should have the weight of the power, not the federal government, not the state government. It should be municipal.
Swirling shell. It looks like
They tried that. Failure. It's called America.
Those were
It was supposed to be the smallest government, and it grew into the biggest. Whenever you have a small government,
The reason
you
it
get
failed is
rich.
because the federal government is now after like from here.
It started with Rome. Rome was started as a republic. They were a very small government. Everybody got rich. That gave food for the government tumor to grow on, and they grow into the Roman Empire. The Magna Carta in England, it's the same thing. They were a small republic with rights. rights, they had freedom. The people got rich. The government grew off that. They became the British.
It's a chicken.
Well, we don't. Our government has never lived up to the ideals of that everyone's equal. I mean,
So hold on. So what's like the counter proposal to that? What's the proposal against that? So like no government. So
You can't have a government.
well, I don't.
It's too dangerous.
Yeah, I don't agree with no
You either have
government.
to have no government or
No,
just
I mean,
very
I
small.
believe in no hierarchical government. So some anarchists believe in no government. I believe in no hierarchical government. I believe we should have structure because there's no way to protect that you have no structure unless putting a structure to make sure that happens.
But anything that the government does that's good can be provided by a company or something. It's like the fire department, the cops, building the roads.
Yeah, but the company store. That's why I think you have to have some form of government because if you allow, I don't believe in capitalism.
For what reason do you have to give
Because if you don't, you have a company
to a
store.
bunch of thugs?
Well, yeah, you shouldn't do that to the company either. If you give the company rights, then they'll charge $10 for a glass of water. I mean, when
All you have to do is open up another company and charge $9 for a glass of water, and you will
but
get
that
all-
doesn't happen because
It totally
Look at the history.
because what they'll do is they'll buy that company out, and then they'll charge $12 because now they don't even have to worry about
That guy goes and
that.
starts another company, and they have to
No,
buy his company.
that's never been true. That is the most.
Look at the
capitalism.
Monopolies have always been because of
Right now, we
grants by the
borrow
government.
from socialism. We owe China money. I'm not saying socialism works as the communist thing, but certainly capitalism, the idea that the
And they
money,
think they're going to get it back.
will end up with equality is absolutely insane.
gold bars here have to be
They keep giving us money. So
Okay, so but look at the history of privatized things like fire departments. Okay? What ended up happening is you had a lot of corruption. You had a lot of I think they had that little
we all
part
saw
in-
Gangs in New York.
Yeah.
It was a movie. I don't know how fire departments worked back in the day,
That's pretty much how they work.
but the fire department is the least bad thing the government does. Like look at the cops, look at the military. As much money as we waste on the military,
That is a lot of money.
when
Yeah,
all we
but-
have to
but
do
the
is
re- the
just
reason
sell
that-
the tanks to the people. Like I would totally go buy an Amtrak.
But it's not that the police.
We'd
You
all
said the
form an
police.
Amtrak.
It's not that police are bad. It's that police are given rights over people.
Yeah.
In other words, if I kill you and you're handcuffed, I'm a police now. I'm magic, innocent. Where anyone else did that, life in prison. So it's that hierarchy that,
Yeah, the
that
uniform
police
should be
are
responsible.
above us. Like they can run lights and break laws and stuff. Oh, well, that's a cop. Why? You should be held to the same standards as everyone else. Because like
Especially since
a
anybody could do
politician.
their job. Anybody can open up a crime fighting company or a dispute resolution
They
company.
don't rely into the police department. It's too smart.
Because you get bored.
There's such a thing as being too smart to be a cop. It's hilarious.
That's so funny because I went to a truck driving school, and at their school they taught security, like to go into the police force, the federal things, and then they taught investigation, and they taught truck driving, and they taught auto shop. So that was weird, but all these different.
Like a boat school.
Yeah, so they said you have to take a test because you have to rank high enough to go to these different ones. The lowest was like the police. Truck driver was one above the police. I thought, wow, truck drivers I don't usually think is like, we're real intelligent. They go, oh, you scored high enough to be part of the investigators and go for the FBI. I was like, yeah, that's not for me. But I thought it was funny that they said, yeah, this one guy in the class, he wanted to be a truck driver there. Sorry, maybe you should try security.
Be like the X-Files.
I was like, wow, what is that? Like you said, what does that say about police? But I don't think all police are unintelligent.
No. It's really a small proportion that you see on the internet that are just conducts. But yeah, but at the same, I mean, at
If
the
your
same
car
time,
gets broken into, do you even call the police?
No.
Because
I'll
they
call
aren't
the
going to do
non-
anything
I'll
about it.
call the non-emergency number so that it's a report, so I can put on my insurance, or I can report to my insurance. But
You're gonna call it numbers. You see some people
If
that
you
they
don't
call
have insurance, it
911
actually
for
screws
everything.
you because it raises the insurance
Yeah.
rates that everybody else has.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, speaking of calling, have you ever seen those things where people call in 911 and say like the most outlandish stuff? They're like, are you,
Stupidest thing, yeah.
like, oh, I need a date.
They
You're
won't
like,
sell me chicken
this is
nuggets.
911. What are you?
Those are funny.
Yeah. Well, one time there was this one where like this 7-year-old girl called because she needed help with her homework, and he actually helped her. It's innocent. It's not like she knew any better.
Oh my god.
Hilarious. And he actually helped her with her homework.
Oh,
She
that.
just wasn't having any emergency.
Oh.
Of course, I think you would get in trouble if there was if you missed an emergency call. I am trying to help
that?
her.
Did you want me to run a card on that?
Oh, I didn't give you the card. Oh,
No.
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm talking too much.
That's all right.
There.
Thank you.
So have you liked it?
Oh, it's interesting.
She's like, I like everyone but you, right?
Definitely interesting. I don't know if the word is like or dislike. It's just sort of more of it's like whether it's interesting or not. It's certainly been interesting. Again, I came in with like zero expectations. In fact, I was going to ask like, what does the group do? You know, and you guys sort of just launched into it, I suppose. So
Basically,
yeah.
and then on Wednesday we do
I'm just gonna.
Which is what?
there's like a bar over here. They have like a quiz, like
Like trivia stuff?
yeah, trivia.
I would suck it.
Word
chose.
Okay, because
Okay.
You'll notice that
win
this
everything.
end of the table is the more extreme end and the more mild end is the right way. So you may be more comfortable the more mild end.
And I haven't thought about it quite as much as you guys.
Don't
Cammy
interpret
and them don't
us.
show up, we don't win.
Don't interpret us as like the full experience of this group.
Right.
There's definitely
And certainly don't meet with anybody because I am a firebrand. I'm anti almost everything. So
Actually, it's funny. Like I'm anti most of the time.
anti-opposition.
no.
I am against being against.
See you guys later.
No, I think it'd be.
I'm just kidding.
But like I said, so yeah, definitely, I'm not the normal atheist. Like I said, anyways, I'm an axiological atheist, which is actually a position for or a argument for atheism. That puts values and ethics as the reason.
I again have to go like look up the actual specific term, which I've never heard before. So.
Strong.
Well, a lot of people probably no one here has heard the term I just said. So don't feel bad. Like, do you know what axiology is? Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's a branch of philosophy. You heard of it?
I've never heard of it.
Right. So you probably haven't either.
It has something to do with axis.
No.
The study of axis.
No, it has the study of values. In other words, every moral theory, in a sense, is connected to, or that assesses things like beauty and art, is a form of axiology. It has two branches. One is aesthetics, one is ethics. But it's basically the value is the core. What you value, you then have reason to be moral. Like in other words, axiology is very concerned with what's good. So like when you say, I believe in good, you're defending that with probably an axiological stance.
But what is good?
Well, it depends on the person, but an axiological would be good is a thing that has good properties. In other words, a good glass, we all can objectively agree is a good glass. It has to be able to contain liquid. It has to be able to fit in my hand. If it's so big I can't grab it, it's not a good glass. And it has to be able to last. It has to be able to be clean. Now, a paper cup is good for the moment. So axiology has three processes. One's called intrinsic, extrinsic, and systemic. And systemic has to do with how it relates to everything and time. Like you asked before about time. It's very important about time because a plastic cup, if I'm super thirsty and you're going to give me water, it will hold the water. So it's inherently good, for the moment. It can be transferred to someone used more than once. It has some extrinsic value, but its systemic value is almost nothing because it won't last 10 years from now, 5 years from now. It may not even last the day. But so the value of something has more than one assessed quality or attribute. So axiology basically put towards atheism says that it devalues not only God, but the concept of God. In other words, God is not a being, it's an idea of kingship or leadership. It's a position. It's a hierarchical position. It's because if you remove the stuff, all you have is a powerful being. It's not a God. A God is saying that this person has to be worshipped, this person has authority. It's a position of authority more than a attribute.
Is axiology itself considered good?
Huh? Yeah, because it helps people to find out and utilize things and add value to things and devalue things that are not good. So it basically values and devalues. It's not like equally valuing everything. So every idea is not equal. And science uses it a lot. It's a social science. Formal axiology is an actual social formal science. It uses calculus and stuff. I don't really know calculus, so I don't apply it in that way, but it doesn't have to be limited
That's
to.
because in school they try to teach you the whole thing.
well, true, but there's other reason why I don't. But I'm also a person who is more big picture than less details. Big concepts are easier for me. Details are really hard. Like I took a test at 7th grade, and it said I was working at second year college, but I was aptitude working at 2nd grade. So I have a real issue with it's not normal. So even now I'm not very good at spelling, although I wrote a book. I have to pay someone to edit it.
See, I'm more of a detail person because I guess it has to do with my background sort of in science. A lot of physics, a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
And basically what you end up doing is you get smaller and smaller and smaller models, and you find out that when you have an additive effect of all these smaller components, you get the big picture. And so the first thing I do whenever I see something complicated is I break it down into its subparts, into its subparts, into its subparts.
Oh no, I don't think the details are bad. I'm just saying my mind can grasp big concepts like super fast. Details are a lot harder. So like philosophy, sometimes it's like the big questions, super easy for me. That makes total sense. I don't barely even read it. Oh, yeah, I get it. Or some things, like you said, like science and math, a lot harder for me.
Well,
so axiology, as for the atheism, is anthropomorphic or anthropocentric, which basically means humans are best.
Are humans best?
Humans.
Yeah, that higher intelligence has more value. In other words, if 10 dogs die or 10 humans die, that most people are also, whether they think so or not, are also anthropocentric. They care the most about 10 humans.
Consider this though. You have, not just individuals, but let's say bacteria.
All right, nice meeting you.
Let's say bacteria. Okay, they're not intelligent. Very intelligent.
You want to sit closer?
Sure. Well,
Oh, you work at the Fat Lab?
Yep.
What's that?
The seat's gonna be all warm and stuff.
You used to have you can rent laser, or what are those things called?
Laser cutter.
Maker bots and stuff.
Yeah,
3D
cool.
printers. So, yeah.
That's cool.
I've never been there, but I've heard of it.
Oh, is that why you have the shirt?
My buddy and I, we flip motorcycles and cars. We might need to 3D print some parts or something. The Bondo doesn't always work so well.
I know, yeah. It works well for stuff like that, replacement parts.
Okay.
Sometime we'll see y'all. Meet you all.
So, a bacterium we don't really consider intelligent. It does have interactive properties with the environment, but we don't really consider it intelligent. But, so one person versus one bacterium, obviously the person wins. But what about a trillion bacteria? Or what about all the bacteria?
I'm just saying, axiology, bacteria would have nothing meaningless.
All the bacteria.
Same with the
I'm sure they
beliefs.
have
Like
some
axiology is very distinct, and formal axiology, it says no belief is more important than a person.
Well, here's the other issue with bacteria. Like if you remove there's good bacteria, and if you actually remove all the bacteria, we live symbiotically with them. So if you remove all the bacteria from someone's body, they would either get very sick or most likely die. So,
right, but axiology would say you're still valuing what it does to a human, not valuing killing bacteria itself.
Right,
You're
but at the
valuing
same
the effect. It's like someone says, well, beliefs do have things, they affect people, right? When they affect people, how they affect people is their value, not the belief itself.
So here's the other end of that. Because we're symbiotic with these bacteria are dependent on us as well. When you kill a person, you kill trillions of bacteria.
Like the aliens come down.
And there's actually, in terms of your cells, there's more bacterial cells in your body than there are cells that are you. So how does that relate?
But like I said, it still goes back to the same thing like I said about beliefs. They have no intrinsic value. It's the extrinsic, what they do, what they produce, and then systemic, how they produce through time and how they affect the larger of everything else. So like a belief that women don't have value, patriarchy. Axiologically, that would be unvaluable. Not because the idea has any or no intrinsic value. It has nothing. Axiology does not acknowledge that beliefs have anything or at all to do with intrinsic values. There's no, like a person, you as a female, or me as a male, or as a human, we have intrinsic value unto ourselves. We have which for them gives you the right to exist, the right to, to not be harmed, the right to self-right to do what you want. Beliefs don't have self-right. They don't have dignity to violate. There's no like they're removed that something hasn't happened to the world. But what it produces, so there are negative beliefs that have an effect. So externally or extrinsic, they have an effect. The belief that a woman doesn't have value, patriarchy, or that men, that is harmful to a person who does have value, a female. So that belief is extrinsically harmful to females. So that belief is not good. So, but it's not because it's intrinsic. It's not good. There is no intrinsic. It's just
And
it makes sense. Really, someone would argue the other day with me that no, ideas have beingness. I'm like, no, they don't. It's like the bacteria. No, it doesn't. Well, at least not for me. Maybe it's just to you.
Change Mars to where
what it can do for something else could make it have value. Not like the glass. The glass, in a sense, doesn't have any value. It's a fake thing. It only has value because it can hold something that's for me. So it's goodness, and it has no intrinsic goodness until it's useful. So other than that, it's nothing. It's just a glass. It's the fact that it's shaped, it can hold something, but it's purpose driven.
You could actually have life. Maybe not whole life.
Good.
The ingredients for life come.
That's nice. I don't usually experience. No, I don't. No, I don't disagree. I understand. I usually feel like I'm explaining it, and people are like going, "Yeah, I don't get it."
Yeah, most of it actually goes over my head. I have to tell you.
Oh,
like,
so you're
neither a big no. This is sort of that last explanation did, but sort of all this whole big picture stuff, even like the detailed stuff. It must be like somewhere in the middle, right? All of it doesn't sort of goes above my head.
Well, you have to be somewhat big picture if I say stuff and you understand.
Okay, good.
No, because I mean, a lot of people don't understand.
That's actually not big picture. You're going more into detail. I feel like.
So you understood then what I said.
Well, the part I kind of had a side conversation. I gotta admit, but I do understand.
Like it wasn't relevant enough to listen.
Well,
I'm trying.
I have a biology background, and you mentioned tardigrades.
Well, yeah, but the axiology in general is a big picture thing, and I was trying to explain it in the details so that you can get it.
Probably.
Why the hell would a water bear with like 6 legs or whatever? How many legs are there? 8 or 9?
Why are they called bears?
Because they look fun.
Because we put properties on them from something else that we know, so that it's comfortable. Because it actually looks like a bug. Call it
Someone should make a water bear plush, like a stuffed animal that you can. Like this is my cuddly water bear. I'll call him Barry.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone already has. Seriously.
You play
Splatter water.
Anybody play Star Trek Online?
No. What's that like?
Well, if you're a Trekkie, it's fun, but otherwise it's kind of a lame. Like there's glitches everywhere.
I don't play games.
Play Morrowind?
I never played Morrowind.
You never played Morrowind? It's awesome. It's like the anarcho-capitalist vision of the world because everything has a price sign on it. You look at the
butterfly wings.
You look at the glass, it's like 95 cents. 95 cents, and you could steal it. But if you try to sell it back to the same person you stole it from later in the game, even like 100 hours into the game, you come and sell them back that cup, and they're like, hey, that's my cup, and then you committed a crime, and you either gotta kill them or run away.
What's funny is you see a butterfly going by and you try to catch it, and it's like, obtained butterfly wings. He's like, no! I wanted the whole butterfly. So yeah, I mean, when I go through life, I don't consciously assign value to things. Obviously,
everyone always does. Yeah, that's why they did a study and they proved that everybody thinks axiologically. In a sense, we all do. There's a whole bunch of ways I can explain.
I feel like it's more of a
even animals do. It's not. Exactly. It's not like somehow that we're special. Animals assess what's valuable as opposed to something else. I mean,
right. And if you associate,
it's kind of like an evolutionary thing.
If you associate something of little value with something of high value, like if you associate them, pushing a button with food, they're gonna yeah.
I think it's the way that we are able to cognitively survive it all. I think is because we're constantly assessing and adding and removing value. But the difference, like you said, is that I try to do it
consciously
with intention.
Yeah. Well,
so I said,
we're emotional creatures, and that's why we make emotional decisions, and that's why used car salesmen do.
Yes.
That's when they make a sale, is when people make emotional decisions. When you do investments, that's how you fail, is when you make an emotional decision versus a mathematically logical or practical one. That's why people are always selling when prices go down and buying when prices go up. It should be the other way around.
Thank you very much.
Lose at poker.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what really, besides school, what really got me thinking about it was actually truck driving. I came from Southern California, very, very insulated, a lot of gangs and stuff, and I thought that I was not racist. I thought that I was like totally bigot-free or whatever, until I traveled and realized, I guess I wasn't really, as much as I wanted to lie to myself and think I wasn't. I mean, so I realized that it's something that we're ethnocentric. I mean, I realized that I was, in other words, what I'm saying is, I didn't like Northern California. I didn't like Arizona. I didn't like, it wasn't, saying it wasn't just like an ethnic, it was an everything thing. I realized the problem was actually way more systemic in my life than I even acknowledged. I liked, only people that looked like me, talked like me, dressed like me. I mean, the problem was like...
Freaked out when you got to the South.
I actually don't really like people who look like me.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't. I'm saying is, but traveling this whole United States, I've been to every state in the United States, and I've been to 4 provinces of Canada, and it really made me realize how much I don't like almost everything that I didn't originally know.
You didn't even like Canadians?
I didn't like Canadians.
Why do you hate Canadians?
I would say I would go up there and make fun of them and tell them they didn't have real money and stuff. I mean, I don't feel that way now, but I'm way more intentionally trying to remove bias. That it's so easy for me to not like everybody, or to think that I'm the standard. I try to remove, I'm not the standard.
I think bias is okay. I think it's what's kept people alive.
No, I think it's harmful. I think that assessing value correctly is very important. And that when it comes to humans, I now realize it's humans.
It's a natural human tendency to fear the unknown. No, it's a natural.
But I'm just saying, I try not to. I really try to be aware that I do that.
It's a natural human tendency to fear the unknown, and yes, that can have negatives, but at the same time, that keeps you from touching the lava.
Right, and it should be placed where it belongs, not fearing gods. It should be placed, or fearing other people. It should be placed where it's helpful. Having universal fear is not a productive thing. So that's what, the critical thing is. So that's what I'm saying is, but I really realized that I was doing this. I was doing this like all the time, like how you're dressed compared to how she's dressed, kind of how he did his hair. I'm judging everybody all the time, and wasn't being cognitively aware that I was doing that, and I'm realizing everybody's judging me.
Hi. That's my card.
Okay.
Find me on Facebook.
Well, I can.
What?
May I have a card?
Yes.
I can give you my card.
Dig it out.
Here's my card. You want my card? It's like, heck no. Let's give you something to burn later. You want my card?
But your card doesn't have. Oh, it does have your name.
My card is. Oops, sorry. Is my group, my name, my email.
That's
That's my older one.
No, no.
I can't find my other one. Let me dig.
Cool. You do marriages. Awesome.
I think I should bury my hands soon.
And yes, it takes a lot of patience because I get a lot of people want to do religious ones. So I'm just like, okay, God bless these rings, blah, blah, blah.
Reading tongues.
It's what the couple wants, so that's.
How do your wedding is
I said you may kiss the bride. Why didn't you understand? Was that Swahili?
it was Klingon, Swahili, and
Swahili?
Well, it was nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you.
Nice thing.
Take care.
Escape while you can.
Before you need another counselor.
More therapy, huh?
All right. Bye.